Are you Julius Sagamore, the worthless nephew of my late solicitor Pontifex Sagamore?
I do not advertise myself as worthless. But Pontifex Sagamore was my uncle, and I've returned from Australia to succeed to as much of his business as I can persuade his clients to trust me with.
I have heard him speak of you, and I naturally concluded that as you had been packed off to Australia, you must be worthless. However, it does not matter, as my business is very simple. I desire to make my will, leaving everything I possess to my husband. You can hardly go wrong about that, I suppose.
I shall do my best. Pray sit down.
I shall sit down when I feel tired.
As you please. Well, now, before I draw up the will, it'll be necessary for me to know who your husband is.
My husband is a fool and a blackguard. You will state that fact in the will. You will add that it was his conduct that drove me to commit suicide.
But you've not committed suicide.
I shall have when the will is signed.
Oh, of course, quite so. Yes, how stupid of me. And his name?
His name is Alistair Fitzsasson.
What, the amateur tennis champion and heavyweight boxer?
Do you know him?
Every morning we swim together at the club.
The acquaintance does you little credit.
I'd better tell you that he and I are great friends, Mrs. Fitzsasson.
Do not call me by his detestable name. Put me in your books as Epifania Ognisanti di Perega.
Oh. Oh, I'm indeed honoured. Pray be seated.
Sit down yourself and don't fuss.
Yes, if you would prefer it, certainly. Your father was a very wonderful man, madam.
My father was the greatest man in the world, and he died a pauper. I shall never forgive the world for that.
A pauper? You amaze me. It was reported that he left you, his only child, 30 million.
Well, what was 30 millions to him? He lost 150 millions. He'd promised to leave me 200 millions. I was left with a beggarly 30. The humiliation of it.
Still an income of $1.5 million.
You forget the death duties. I've barely 700,000 a year. Do you know what that means to a woman brought up on an income of 7 figures? The humiliation of it.
You take my breath away, madam.
As I am about to take my own breath away, I have no time to spare for yours.
Oh, the suicide. Yes, I'd forgotten that.
Had you indeed? Well, would you please put your mind to it for a moment and make a will for me to sign, leaving everything to Alistair?
To humiliate him?
No, to ruin him, to destroy him, to make him a beggar on horseback that he may ride to the devil. Money goes to his head. I've seen it at work on him.
Yes, I also have seen that happen. But you can't be sure. He might marry some sensible woman.
You're right. Make it a condition of the inheritance that within a month from my funeral, he marries a low female named Polly Seedy Stockings.
Funny name.
Her real name is Patricia Smith, but her letters to Alistair are signed Polly Seedy Stockings. As a hint, I suppose, that she wants him to buy her another dozen.
Well, I should like to know, Polly.
Pray why?
Well, if Alistair prefers her to you, she must indeed be worth knowing. So I shall certainly make him introduce me.
You are hardly tactful, Julius Sagamore.
That won't matter when you've taken this.
What's this?
For the suicide. Now, you'll have to sign the chemist's book for the cyanide. Say it's for a wasp's nest. The tartaric acid is harmless, so the chemist will think you wanted to make lemonade. Now, you put the two separately in just enough water to dissolve them, and when you mix the two solutions, the tartaric and potash will combine to make tartrate of potash. This, being insoluble, will be precipitated to the bottom of the glass, and the supernatant fluid will be pure hydrocyanic acid, the one sip of which will kill you like a thunderbolt.
You seem to take my death rather coolly, Mr. Sagamore.
Well, I'm used to it.
Do you mean you have so many clients driven to despair that you keep a prescription for them?
I do. It's infallible.
And you're sure they've all died painlessly and instantaneously?
No, they're all alive.
Alive? The prescription's a harmless fraud.
No, it's a deadly poison, but they don't take it.
Why?
I don't know, but they never do.
Well, I will. And I hope you will be hanged for giving it to me.
I'm only acting as your solicitor. You say you're going to commit suicide and you come to me for advice, so I do my best for you. So that you can die without wasting a lot of gas or jumping into this serpentine. 6 and 8pence I shall charge your executors.
What? For advising me how to kill myself?
Not today, tomorrow.
Why put it off till tomorrow?
Well, it'll do as well tomorrow as today. And something amusing might happen this evening. Or even tomorrow evening. There's no hurry.
You are a brute, a beast and a pig. You don't even ask what has driven me to this. My life means nothing to you. You make money out of the death of your clients.
Oh, I do. There'll be a lot of business connected with your death. Alistair's sure to come to settle your affairs.
And you think I'm going to kill myself to make money for you?
Well, it's you who've raised my expectations, madam.
Oh, God, listen to this man. Has it ever occurred to you that when a woman's life is wrecked, she needs a little sympathy, not a bottle of poison?
I really can't sympathise with suicide. It doesn't appeal to me somehow. Still, if it has to be done, it had better be done promptly and scientifically.
You don't even ask what Alistair has done to me.
But it won't matter what he's done to you when you're dead. Why bother about it?
You are an unmitigated hog, Julius.
Why worry about me? The prescription will cure everything.
Oh, damn your prescription there!
Oh, it's infallible. Well, now that you've blown off steam, suppose you sit down and tell me all about it.
You call the outcry of an anguished heart blowing off steam, do you?
Well, what else would you call it?
You're not a man, you're a rhinoceros. You're also a fool.
No, I'm only a solicitor.
You're a rotten solicitor. You're not a gentleman. You insult me in my distress. You back up my husband against me. You have no decency, no humanity. You're a fish with the soul of a black beetle, do you hear?
Oh, yes, I hear, and I congratulate myself on the number of actions for libel I shall have to defend if you do me the honour of making me your solicitor.
You are wrong. I never utter a libel. My father instructed me most carefully in the law of libel. If I questioned your solvency, that would be a libel. If I suggested that you are unfaithful to your wife, that would be a libel. But if I say that you are a rhinoceros, which you are, a most unmitigated rhinoceros, that is only vulgar abuse. I take good care to confine myself to vulgar abuse, and I have never had an action for libel taken against me. Is that the law, or is it not?
I really don't know. I'll look it up in my
You
law
need
books.
not. I instruct you that it is the law. My father had to instruct his lawyers in law. Solicitors are no good at law. They are only good at practice, as they call it. My father was a great man. Every day of his life he did things no one else ever dreamt of doing. I may not perhaps be a great woman, but I am his daughter, and as such I am an unusual woman. You will take the law from me and do exactly as I tell you to do.
Well, that will simplify our relations considerably, madam.
And remember, I have no sense of humour. I will not be laughed at.
Madam, I shouldn't dream of laughing at a client with an income of $750,000.
Have you a sense of humour?
Try and keep it in check, but I'm afraid I have a little. You appeal to it somehow.
Then I tell you, in cold blood, after careful consideration of my words, that you are a heartless blackguard. My distress, my disgrace, my humiliation, the horrible mess and failure I've made of my life seem to you merely funny.
I don't know anything about your distress, your disgrace, the mess you've made of your life and all the rest of it. How can I laugh at things I don't know? If I am laughing, and am I really laughing? I assure you, I'm laughing not at your misfortunes, but at you.
Oh, indeed. Am I so comic a figure in my misery?
What is your misery? Oh, do pray sit down.
You seem to have one idea in your head, and that is to get your clients to sit down. Oh, very well. To oblige you. Oh! Oh, I cannot even sit in a chair without wrecking it. My life is cursed. I laugh, fool, clown.
Oh, my best fake Hepplewhite gone. It cost me 4 guineas. Now, will you please sit down as gently as you can and stop calling me names? And then, if you wish, you can tell me what on earth is the matter.
The wrecking of that chair has calmed and relieved me somehow. I feel as though I'd broken your neck, as I wanted to. Now, listen to me. And don't stand over me like that. Sit down on what is left of your sham Hepplewhite.
Yes, certainly, madam.